I had to wait till I woke up a little bit before I started talking to the camera. I wanted to share just like a typical day in the life for me during the work week. So it is currently a Tuesday. I'm just getting a little bit ready for the day now, but I do have the privilege of being able to work from home, but still a full-time job nonetheless. So I kind of just wanted to show you guys just some of my routines around working full-time and how I keep up with just my wellness routines and taking care of my health. I just realized my hair looks really silly with this headband and I might fix it. Hold on. One thing I will say is that I do not actually get ready every single day for work since I work from home. I just honestly can't be bothered to do my hair and makeup every single day, and I don't need to. I don't always have meetings where I need to have my camera on, and even when I do, I'm comfortable with being pretty casual on camera just with my team. So I'm getting ready today solely because I'm filming, so just putting that out there that I don't always get ready every single day. But anyways, I typically will wake up every single day around 6 a.m. I do give myself a little bit of grace if I feel like I need to, but ever since college, I've been more of a morning person versus a night owl. I just have more energy at the start of my day versus after work. So I like to have my quiet time with the Lord first thing in the morning, but then I usually will have still a couple hours before I log on to work for the day. And I'm currently working out in the afternoons. I just prefer to work out with food in my system, and if I were to wake up early, do my morning routine, try to eat and work out, then that would require me to probably wake up an hour earlier. And I'm just fine right now with working out in the afternoons. I realize I just feel a lot better working out in the afternoons currently. So typically how I spend my mornings, it kind of will change depending on the day and depending on what I need to get done, but I actually just prefer to use the time I have in the mornings to either do any type of like dinner prep just to make my evenings a little bit easier, or I'll do some household chores. I follow a chore split instead of just saving all of my chores for the weekend, so that helps me just stay on top of things and also just frees up time for me on the weekends. But again, that just changes on the day. Today, I'm filming this on a day that I don't really have to do any kind of chores. I usually save those more for later in the week, going into the weekend. I actually don't have to do any dinner prep either because dinner tonight is really easy. But that's just a little bit of insight on how I usually structure my days. Is I like to just try to be productive in the morning since I have more energy on the front end of my day versus after work. Here is the finished makeup look, pretty much just my go-to makeup look every single time that I get ready. I changed into just a cute little matching set. I honestly feel like matching sets are key to just feeling more put together and still being comfortable while working from home. It's actually kind of a dreary day. There wasn't rain on the forecast, so I wasn't expecting it, but we'll hopefully be able to get a outside walk in around lunchtime. But I have been trying to get walks in the morning as well after I eat breakfast, but since it's raining, that probably won't happen this morning. But luckily we have our walking pad. This is exactly why I got a walking pad, was because of the winter time. I wasn't always wanting to go walk outside when it was really cold out, and it's just a game changer for me to be able to get my steps in while working. So we'll eat breakfast and then we'll take a little walk on our walking pad. I'm not a fan of my overhead light in my kitchen, but since it's so gloomy outside, probably gonna have to turn it on. It is what it is. Anyways, I already had my bone broth this morning. That's what I have first thing in the morning. Bone broth is so healing to your gut, and since I'm trying to heal my leaky gut, I drink that every single day, and it also has 20 grams of protein in it, so I start my day with protein. And now I'm about to make my hyperfixation breakfast. I'm still eating the chocolate oats with raspberries every single day. One of these days I'll switch it up, but for now, if it ain't broke. And I add protein powder to it as well, and then the flax and the chia also has a little bit of protein, so it's actually very high in protein, and it's also really high in fiber. Fiber is the other thing that I really try to prioritize in my diet along with protein, so it really just helps me get ahead with my fiber goal. Make sure though, if you are eating oats, to make sure that they're glyphosate free. This is super important because glyphosate can be really harmful and damaging to our gut and our hormones. And I also get these that are sprouted. That makes them a little bit easier to digest and more just bioavailable nutrients. So I really love this brand, 1 Degree, for my oats. I do about a 1/4 cup of oats. Then I do a tablespoon of cacao powder, which is rich in antioxidants, 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed. And then I started cooking my chia seeds in with the oats. I saw some people in my last What I Eat in a Day video sharing how chia seeds shouldn't be eaten raw. However, I've seen research say both is okay as long as you're not eating them in super large amounts raw, then they're safe to eat. I think the issue with eating them raw is that it can cause bloating because they can expand. So I just started cooking them just to be safe, but they are safe to eat raw in small amounts. If you are somebody who does experience bloating, then it maybe is just safer to soak them or cook them. So that's what I've been doing. I don't know if I've necessarily noticed a difference, but it doesn't hurt. Next, we add in our protein powder. I love this one from Equip because it's a single ingredient protein powder from grass-fed beef, and this is an additional 20 grams of protein. And then I do about a 1/2 cup of filtered water, and then I just top it off with a generous handful of raspberries. I love raspberries so much. They're also really high in fiber as well. And then I don't do this every day, but today I'm going to add a little bit of nut butter. This is just creamy almond butter. Just do like a little spoonful. It's about a tablespoon, maybe a little bit less. And then this morning I took my probiotic already and my L-glutamine with my bone broth. And then with breakfast, I take these digestive enzymes. I take these with every meal. Actually, this was recommended to me by a naturopath just to help with digestion. And I also take this B vitamin. This one has some methylated B vitamins in it just to help with bioavailability and absorption. I really like to eat at my desk over my dining table just because I have this really great big window where I work. That's really important for me for my mental health to be by natural light. Since I had to be inside all day, natural light is just a game changer. I can't believe I used to work in an office with no windows and be under artificial lights all day. Oh my gosh. Working from home has seriously made all the difference in my mental health. I don't think I've shared this yet on my channel, but in case you're curious what I do for work, I work remote as a graphic designer. I got my undergrad degree in graphic design. I grew up always being creative, loving art, and then that kind of segued into graphic design for me. So it was really important for me to be able to work from home with the health challenges that I was dealing with for years and years. There was a time where I was really concerned on like how I would be able to keep a job with just the chronic symptoms I was experiencing. And so right now in my life, I'm not as sick as I was once before, so it doesn't really affect my work, but also just a little bit more of the flexibility that comes with working remote allows me to have that space and that comfortability to deal with my issues at home, privately, not in an office setting, is seriously just so important to me. And that was one of the reasons why, honestly, I got into graphic design, just because I knew there was remote work opportunities. When it came to looking for a job, it was really important for me to find a remote job just for stability, for my mental health. When I do have flare-ups from time to time, just being able to deal with them from home in the comfort of my home. But anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm gonna finish eating my breakfast and then we'll go on a little walk on our walking pad. Actually, the rain might have stopped. I do have to check. My blinds are still closed, but I don't hear any rain, so I might be able to get an outside walk just really quickly, just because it's so important for our circadian rhythm and for our hormones to get morning sunlight. So I'm gonna try to get an outdoor walk if I can. I ended up having to log on to work right when I got home from my walk, but now I'm just taking a quick little morning break and about to make myself a matcha latte. I intentionally delay my caffeine for after I've already had breakfast. Caffeine was one of my big triggers for my stomach issues, so I have just learned that having it after I've already eaten a satiating breakfast helps it to not be upsetting to my stomach. I still can't tolerate coffee. It's just too irritating to my stomach. For now, I've really been loving my matcha, and matcha is super beneficial as well. It's high in antioxidants, it's high in polyphenols, which helps feed a good bacteria in your gut. And then this is actually homemade almond milk that I make in my Vitamix. I filmed how I make this in a meal prep video that I posted a few months ago if you want to check it out, but I just like to make my almond milk from home because the plant-based milks that are in stores often have a lot of gums and filler ingredients that can be really irritating to our gut, and the ones that don't have those are really expensive. So I just learned how to make it at home, but I just top that off with my matcha, and then I just add a little bit of honey to sweeten the matcha, and then I just give that another whisk. Now you have a beautiful homemade almond milk matcha latte. Been a productive work morning. I didn't have any meetings this morning, which was nice to just get some focused time on my projects that I'm working on. But now it's already time for lunch. I feel like the mornings just fly by for me. I pretty much exclusively eat leftovers for lunch, which is really nice and really easy to throw together. So I'm actually just going to heat up what we had for dinner last night. Leftovers just make my life so much easier. Last night we had salmon, coconut rice, and some roasted broccoli. So I'm just going to heat this up really quick on the stovetop. Whenever I have time, I prefer to heat up leftovers on the stovetop versus microwave. I've just heard how microwaving your food just ends up killing the nutrients. And yes, it's so convenient and easy, but it's worth it if you can spend a little bit more time and just reheat food on the stovetop. I love how this is just ending up turning into a what I eat in a day, just because pretty much just at my computer working during the daytime and then take a break whenever I need sustenance. So hopefully you guys enjoy seeing what I like to eat. Then I'm also going to have a little bit of kimchi on the side with this lunch. And I really just love fermented foods in general. They're really great for your gut microbiome and just a good source of probiotics. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of coconut aminos on the rice and a little bit on my salmon. Yum. I'm just sat at my desk going to eat my lunch. Again, I just like to sit at my desk because I have all this natural light coming in, which the sun did peek out. It was gloomy this morning, but now it's sunny, so Definitely want to try to get an afternoon walk in after I eat my lunch. I try my best to eat and not work at the same time. I like to eat and not be distracted as much as possible and just really focus on my meal and chewing my food. Not only is chewing your food really crucial for digestion, but it also helps with metabolism and also just really being able to get the best absorption out of the food that you're eating. So trying to take your time while eating, not eating in a stressed state, chew your food. And I'm still trying to get better at this habit. It's like something I have to be mindful of every single time that I eat. I grew up in a household where we all just inhaled our food, and I know that's hard sometimes because we often wait until we are absolutely ravenous till we eat. So we think like the faster we eat, the faster we're going to satisfy that hunger cue. But it's so important for digestion, like I said, and metabolism to really chew your food, really take your time eating. I was considering going on a walk outside after I ate lunch, but it's actually really windy outside, so it might not be the most enjoyable. I'm a little bit conflicted though because it is sunny, but it's 21 miles per hour wind right now, so it's not always the most fun to just get smacked by the wind. I think I'm just gonna do a walk on my walking pad, get back to work, and then maybe try to go on a walk a little bit later if the wind settles down. That's what I'm thinking that I'll do. I like to get walks in throughout my day, but specifically after I eat my meals. Walking after your meals helps a lot with digestion. It also helps with blood sugar regulation, using up the glucose that you just consumed and using it up instead of it just sitting in your bloodstream. And that's what causes blood sugar spikes and also just energy crashes happen when you're not using up that glucose. So it helps me a lot, not only with blood sugar regulation and digestion, but also just keeping my energy up throughout the day. It's definitely crucial for me to be able to keep my energy up while working. It's about that time where I hit a little bit of an afternoon slump, so I'm going to make me a little drink to have as a pick-me-up. Even though I can't have coffee and I really wouldn't want to have caffeine at this time anyways, I like to have just some sort of fun beverage to just help me get through the last little leg of the workday. I was making a bone broth hot chocolate in the afternoons. Since then, have wanted to go back to just having my bone broth in the morning, just because that bone broth powder that I use is pretty expensive. So I'm still making a hot chocolate drink, but I started making it a little bit different. It's actually so simple, barely qualifies for a recipe, but I do about a tablespoon and a half of cacao powder. And then I just started adding this mushroom blend. This one has maca, reishi, and ashwagandha. I think that's about a teaspoon, which is a serving size for this, so I just add that in. Maca is a natural energy booster. Reishi supports internal resiliency and balance. Ashwagandha helps the body to adapt to stress. Definitely need that. And then I've been adding a scoop of my collagen to this because you just can't taste it. It dissolves really well. And collagen is really great for repairing the gut lining. So I try to at least get a serving of that every single day as well. And then of course, add some of my Celtic sea salt for minerals. And I also find that a little bit of saltiness just helps bring out the flavor of things. And I'm also the type of person that likes salty and sweet together, so I add this to so many things. Then we just add our warm water. You could use milk as well. And I just give that a whisk. Make sure you get all the powder at the bottom mixed up. And then lastly, I add in about a tablespoon of maple syrup just to sweeten it. And this is 100% maple syrup. Make sure you're using 100% maple syrup and not pancake syrup. That's not the same thing. I've got about 2 hours left of work to grind out before I sign off for the day. And then we're going to go straight to the gym after work. This also just helps give me that little bit of energy boost, and a little bit of the carbohydrate from the maple syrup helps fuel my workout. So we're gonna go wrap up work for the day, and I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. Just wrapped up work for the day, and now I'm about to head to the gym for a quick workout. I'm thinking I'm just going to do an upper body day. I just did a very quick dinner prep so that by the time we get home, it'll be really easy to throw together. I just marinated some chicken thighs. I did a honey Dijon marinade. I'll share the recipe below if you guys are interested. And then I prepped the sweet potatoes, which I'm just roasting the sweet potatoes, and I have those already in the oven just because they take a little bit to cook. Koa's gonna stay home, so he's gonna be monitoring that while I'm at the gym. I also just work out at the gym at my apartment. It's just really convenient for me. I don't have to pay to go anywhere else. They have everything I need there, and it's usually not too crowded, so let's get it. From the gym, had a pretty good workout. I was pretty efficient with it. I got Amazon order in, so I'm gonna see what we got. Probably just household stuff. I needed to restock our laundry detergent. This is my favorite non-toxic laundry detergent, Molly Suds. I get the unscented kind and does the job. Not too expensive for a non-toxic laundry detergent. I'm going to finish throwing dinner together. Sometimes I like to shower before I finish cooking and then eat dinner, but I'm feeling pretty hungry, and since there's not too much left to do, I'm just going to quickly grill up our chicken and saute some green beans and then eat dinner, and then we'll get our shower in.
Hello, Ramona. I can't shake the simplest feeling beyond the ghost. We stand on the opposite shore. Hello, Ramona. I reach through mysterious ceilings, my only hope. I look for the things I don't know.
Just got out the shower, feeling nice and clean. This is the non-toxic deodorant I'm currently using. It actually works pretty good out of all the other ones that I've tried. This one is the best one that I've tried so far. It's a like crystal mineral deodorant, which I thought was a really weird concept when I was first introduced to it, but it actually works pretty well. You just get it wet and then roll it under your arms And for skincare, I keep it pretty minimal at nighttime, mostly just because I'm on a little bit of a budget right now. But this is what I use to cleanse. This is actually non-toxic. It's really affordable as well and really gentle, so I've been enjoying this a lot. It's from Vanicream. And then I use their moisturizer as well, so that's what I'm going to use right now. I just had a serum that I was using for a while, but I ran out, so really the only thing I've been putting on my face at night is this moisturizer. And then I've been using this rose hip oil from The Ordinary, and this is actually what I use just as a carrier when I do my gua sha routine. But I actually only put this on my neck right now just because I'm trying to figure out if this was causing breakouts for me or not. But it's a really good, like, all natural anti-aging alternative, also really high in vitamin C. But I've just been putting it on my neck for now until I figure out if it's the thing that was breaking me out. Could have just also been hormonal, just depending on the time of the month. Sometimes I get breakouts here and there. And then the last thing that I've been doing is castor oil under my eyes. I actually tried a non-toxic eye cream recently, and it was actually causing irritation around my eyes, which for whatever reason I could have just been sensitive to the ingredients. But I switched to just using castor oil because I saw people using that a lot in natural skincare, and I've really been loving it. And I use this castor oil, and then I actually just bought this little dropper from Amazon to use and get it a little bit easier. And then the same thing here, I've been using castor oil on my eyelashes, and I really think they've made a big difference as long as you do it consistently. But I've noticed a big difference in my lashes. We're about to wind down for the evening. We're watching Smallville right now, so we're gonna watch an episode of our show and just chill for the rest of the evening. Just finished an episode of our show, and now it's time for me to get ready for bed. We typically only watch one episode of a show a night, and then I actually like to read before I go to sleep. This just helps quiet my mind, helps me wind down and not be thinking too much. It's also just been a habit I've been forming instead of scrolling on my phone, because I found that doing that before sleep not only disrupts my sleep, but it also would fill me with a lot of anxiety before bedtime. So I prefer reading before bed. I just started this book last night, actually. It's called God Has a Name by John Mark Comer. I actually don't know how you say his last name, but I really love his books. I've read a couple of his other books, and I find his writing to be very insightful and profound, but also very easy to understand and follow along. I honestly don't get very far in reading at night just because I am quite tired at this time, but it does help me fall asleep, so I guess that's it just doing its job, you know? I'm actually going to end the video out here just because I know once I start reading I am going to get pretty sleepy and probably not have the energy to talk to you guys anymore. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to be a part of this community. I hope you all are well, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, friends.